All right, so now that you have a table of values, you're going to go ahead and put your data into a graph. So on page 5 of your graphing notebooks, go ahead and put page 5 on the top right corner and title it Graphing Your Data. So the way this works, so you already have a graphing notebook, so all of the lines are there for you, but essentially you're going to go ahead and draw an X and a Y axis. So X axis, there should be an arrow. And a Y axis. Okay. So essentially, I'm going to go ahead and label it. This should be your X axis. This is your input, X axis. And this is your output for your Y axis. So you're just going to put the information you have in your table into this graph, okay? It's a visual way of representing the table, right? So it's always a good idea to label your x-axis and your y-axis with the unit. So remember, our input was year, right? And our output was number of seconds of advertising per hour. So for you, you are going to use the data that you have. Let me make this a little smaller. Okay, right. So you're going to use the data that you have to label your axis. So if you're looking at temperature over time, right, your input's going to be the time, and then the output's going to be the temperature. If you're looking at number of, or the price of groceries over the years, your input's going to be the year, output's going to be the price. It just depends on what you chose. So I'm going to go ahead and make that. The second thing you have to make is a scale. So to make your scale, we always start here at 0, right? So you're going to go ahead and add to the origin 0. And that's 0 year, your starting year is 0. And then your starting minutes is also 0. So it's 0, 0 at your origin, okay? Let me move this a little bit. Next, you're going to put the last piece of data you have at the very rightmost side. So I'm going to put a little line here. The last year I have data for is 2013. So I'm going to go ahead and put that. Okay. And then the highest number of seconds I have is 855, right? That was the number of seconds that was happening in 2013. I'm going to put a text that says 855. Okay. So you're welcome to, oops, make this a little bigger. There we go, 855 seconds, okay? So you put the smallest, whatever, and then the biggest, or the most recent, okay? Then you want to scale your graph. So it doesn't make sense, this is an example, right? It doesn't make sense for over here to be like 100 seconds, right? It wouldn't make much sense if I put 100 seconds right here, right? That's a very, that's too close to the 855. You want to first estimate your halfway. So what's half of, you know, and you know what? I'm going to change this actually a little bit to make it so it makes more sense. Since we're not starting at year 0, I'm going to go ahead and start my graph in year 2009, since that's my beginning piece of information. So you don't have to start at year 0. You can go ahead and start with your starting year, like where you actually started with your data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with 2009. And the halfway point between 2009 and 2013, so about halfway. There are 4 years between 2009 and 2013, so the halfway point is 2011. Because 4 years, half of that is 2 years, so 2 years after 2009 is 2011. Okay. Then I can add in all my other years. So half of 2009 and 2011 is 2010. And half of 2011 and 2013 is 2012. So I can go ahead and add that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 2012 right here. Okay. So now all my years are labeled and scaled appropriately, right? There's even spacing between the years. They make sense. Same thing with the number of seconds. So half of 0 and about 855 or about 900, like 855 is really close to 900, is about 450. So I'm going to say the halfway point is about 450. Oops. Oh. So right here is about 450. Stretch this out so it fits. Okay, let me straighten this out. So about halfway is about 450 seconds. Ah. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, and then halfway between that is about another 200 seconds, which is at 650. Okay. And then halfway between that is 100 seconds, so 750. So hopefully you're scaling this for your data, your table, okay, whatever is appropriate for your data. If you need help with this, again, come to a workshop, let me know. And then halfway between this is about 800. Okay. So 800 is about right here. I don't know what's going on there. Just trying to make a line. So 800 is about right here. Okay? So again, it's really important you scale your graphs appropriately so that they actually make visual sense. Sorry. Okay. All right, so now I have my scale. I can actually place data points. So looking back at my table, I know that at 2009, I had 805 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to look back at my table. 2009, I had 805 seconds. So I'm going to go to my table. And at 2009, I was up over here around 805 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and add a dot at 2009, 805 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to fill that in. Right? So at 2009, I was a little bit above 805 seconds. And then at 2013, I was at 855 seconds. Well, we can either do that or I can go ahead and do it year by year. So let's go ahead and do that. At 2009, I was at 805 seconds. 2010, I was at 817.5. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put a dot around 817.5, which is a little bit above that. And then after that, it's about 830. So a little bit above that. And then at 2012, it looks like I'm at 842.5 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit above that. And then lastly, at 2013, I am, of course, at 855 seconds. So at 2013, I'm at 855. So right here. Okay. So now I have all my data points. And you notice that they start to form, if I connect them, they start looking like a line. So I'm going to do, just kind of connect the points. They start looking like a straight line. Again, this is obviously because I assumed I had a linear relationship. Like for every year, there's some increase of 12.5 seconds. Every year, increase of 12.5 seconds. And this constant increase creates a linear relationship. Okay, so now go ahead and in your notebooks, transfer your table of values into a graph on page 5. Take a photo, upload it. And if you need any help, go ahead and come to workshop, let me know, message me on DreamSeeDo. But try to turn your data into a graph.